Hi, welcome to this reading. Today's reading, I am pulling through the energy of a rainbow connection to be specific. Now, I have done a pre-shuffle on all of the cards. I've got a whole heap of information that has been coming through since about 3:30 this morning when I got up to drive my son to work, and I first of all got the song The Rainbow Connection on my random shuffle, but I started getting all of these other messages pertaining to things that I've been picking up on the last couple of days, connecting them all together. So this is a spiritual reading. It is about trusting what you don't see, using your spiritual eyes rather than your actual eyes to pick up on connections, to connect the dots. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. A bit about me first. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. I pick up on energy prior to a reading. I will get messages through songs, through downloads, through dreams, just anything really that my guides choose to use as a tool to deliver a message. I believe that part of the way that I read, as a collective, we are all going through a massive spiritual awakening. The North Node is currently in Pisces. So it's 18 months of tapping into our hidden spiritual gifts, looking or peeling back the layers of the spiritual information, the spiritual guidance that you are getting. And if you can watch a tarot reader, and like me, I will always explain what message I got, how I got it, how I piece things together. It's a way of going, oh, okay, maybe I can do that too. Now, I've in no way, shape or form am I an expert. I am learning. We're all learning on the journey. I've got readers that I watch and I learn how they tap into things as well. But we've all got different ways, and your guides will tap into you, try and tap into your intuition through ways that they connect. Now, if it's somebody who, just say you have a spiritual guide who is a family member from the past, they might tap into you, or tap into you. They might give you guidance through commonality, through things that you've experienced together, through memories that you've had. This particular card is from my travel deck, a deck that I've just put together. I've actually got 5 decks, 5 new decks that I'm using today, and lots of the messages are tapping into things from the past. So all of the decks that I use on my channel are my own designs. I'm an illustrator, so the cover art of all of the decks is all my own pen and ink work, and many have my own illustrations on the back of them, but I've just created a couple of new decks, and one of them is a travel deck. Now, I'm 49 this year. When I was 21, I actually spent a little over 12 months overseas, working in England and traveling through Europe, and I have just collated not all of them because it'd be a deck this tall, but all of the images from my travels into my travel deck. Now, my 21-year-old self was I'd gone through several spiritual awakenings, but not to the degree or not to the level of understanding that I have now. And so I've spent the last couple of days, because this deck arrived a couple of days ago, I've spent the last couple of days using Google reverse image search, going back in and finding out the meanings behind all of these things that I photographed, that I am like, oh yeah, I know that's in the Vatican, but I have no idea the context of this image. Now, as I shuffled the cards for the past couple of days, this card kept coming out, and I'm like, what is that? And why is that man a big statue in the Vatican? And it's part of the message that's coming out today. I'm going to butcher his name, but I'm going to give you the story behind him. His name is Saint Longin. Now, I'm pronouncing that with a French accent, but he was actually Roman. He was a Roman centurion. Actually, let me just have a look at that. Okay, I just wanted to check, because a century is 100 years, right? A centurion is a Roman military officer who commanded a century, which was a unit of about 80 to 100 legionnaires. In the Roman army, a centurion was the principal professional officer, and the position was similar to a company commander in modern army. in modern armies. The officer of centurion was the highest rank an ordinary soldier could achieve. So probably like, well, like a sergeant, or well, would be a warrant officer, right? Because then you go up into lieutenant, captain. So this statue is in the Vatican because this man had a problem with his sight. So he obviously commanded a group of soldiers, and on the day that Jesus was hung on the cross, they wanted to know whether he'd passed away or not. And so he was asked to check if he was still alive. And because his eyesight was poor, he couldn't really see. So he used his spear, which is that word, longine. He used his spear to pierce the side of Jesus, and water and blood spurted out onto his eyes, and his eyesight was restored. At that point in time, he knew straight away that Jesus was who he said he was, that he was the Son of God. And I want to say he repented, but he basically converted to Christianity and spent the remainder of his life working, spreading the word of Jesus. So something had to happen to him that was out of this world, outer worldly. Now, what actually happened was, because the Romans who had crucified, and this is a true story, the Romans who had crucified Jesus basically said, you're an idiot, you didn't get your eyesight back because this guy says that he's the Son of God. So they actually took his eyes out. So he walked around with a bandage on his eyes, and yet he still continued because he knew that his sight had been restored as a miracle. And then what happened was the Romans got so cross with him because he was essentially being defiant. I just need to check that I'm recording. Because he was being defiant, that they cut out his tongue. And God allowed him, or did something to his mouth to allow him to keep preaching. And so he was venerated as a saint, Saint Longines. Anyway, and that's why his statue is in the Vatican. So what I'm getting here is, and it's actually beautiful because the song The Rainbow Connection and the lyrics within it align with what you can see with your spiritual eyes and what you can see with your physical eyes. So this guy actually lost his eyesight, had seen some form of miracle, and it was enough for him to have faith. So the lyrics of The Rainbow Connection, and I've just written it down. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Now, it's sung by Kermit the Frog. Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. So you can see a rainbow, but you can't touch it. And rainbows have nothing to hide. So when you think about something that's an illusion, it's normally an illusion because it's deceptive, like a mirage, right? It's deceptive. You're thirsty in the desert and you see this kind of mirage and you go, but it's deceptive. Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So a rainbow isn't being deceptive because it's trying to trick you. It's just literally something that you can see but can't touch. So we've been told, some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when we wished on the morning star? Now the morning star is actually a reference to Jesus, a miracle, some sort of miracle. This reading is about trusting what you don't see, the power of your imagination. We are in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign. It's about the mind. Seeing things with your spiritual eyes, the unseen, the endless possibility. Now, a rainbow was a covenant that God had with Noah. Told him to build an ark. Get on the ark. Something's coming, but you can't see it. And so he did what he was told. And I'm getting lots of plays on words because I've been getting these rainbow themes through for the last couple of weeks in my readings. But NOAA, N-O-A-A, is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. in the States. It basically gives predictive information on what's happening in the ocean, in the sea, in the sky. The geomagnetic storms, there is predicting a huge geomagnetic storm in the next 24 hours. Potentially we'll see the northern lights actually come almost all the way down to the equator. And there's lots of things happening in the sky at the moment from an astrological point of view. At the moment, now as I said, I dropped my son at work this morning. It was 3:30 this morning. The only star that I could see in the sky, wished on the morning star, was Venus. Venus currently is the morning star. Now the morning star, in reference in the Bible, is Jesus. I've just written down some of the astrological or astronomical placements that are happening at the moment. June 6th, Spica and the moon are conjunct. Now, I'm not sure, Spica. I'm not sure about that. But if somebody knows the meaning of that, but it's obviously got relevance because I wrote it down. June 7th, I'm going to spell it Arietid. Arietid? The Arietid meteor shower. June 8th, which is Pentecost. Jupiter and Mercury pair up. Jupiter is expansion and Mercury is your mind. And if that's happening on June 8th, which is Pentecost, which is where they basically had flames off the top of their head and they were speaking in tongues, it's information coming to you, a connection. It's almost like we're plugging in with the divine. June 10, Antares, which is one of the 4 royal stars of Persia, will rise after dark with the almost full moon, because the full moon is actually the next day. The full moon is in Sagittarius, which is June 11. But Antares is known as the gate of God. And so I did a little drawing. Sometimes I think the information that comes through is wordy. Sometimes people need a visual. So the rainbow connection, the rainbow is the bridge. It's the bridge between man and God, because the 4 royal stars of Persia, Aldebaran, which was in the sky from the 28th of May, it's the 2nd of June today, the 28th of May to the 31st of May, Aldebaran is Archangel Michael. It's a truth. It's the eye of the bull because it falls in Taurus season. It's the gate of man and it's the silver gate. And there is a portal between Aldebaran and Antares, which I said on June 10, it's the gate of the gods. It's the golden gate. Now there are 7 colors of the rainbow that connect the gate of man with the gate of God. It's a portal. Aldebaran, May 28 to 31. That's when Aldebaran, which is Archangel Michael, which is the sword of truth, aligns with the sun and illuminates some sort of truth about your 3D life so that you can flip through the portal and ascend ascend through the gate of God. Aldebaran, May 28 to 31. Pentecost is June 8. Again, that fire, that flame, that phoenix rising from the ashes. Jupiter and Mercury are conjunct. Jupiter is expansion. Mercury is the mind. It's almost the light bulb, the light, because you've got 7 colors of the rainbow, but in order to have the rainbow, you need the light. The light bulb comes on. Expansion of the mind. Antares, June 10th. This is Antares, which is Archangel Uriel. It's the watcher of the west, the heart of the celestial scorpion. It's war, it's transformation. And it is Archangel Uriel. Uriel is the angel of light. The rainbow connection. Something needs to be illuminated in order for you to get the rainbow. It's the gate of the gods. Phoenix rising from the ashes. And then June 11th, which is the full moon in Sagittarius. It's the strawberry moon. It's ruled by Jupiter. So it's luck, it's expansion, it's the wheel of fortune. Heightened optimism, expansion, embracing new opportunities. That's this guy here. He needed to see. He was blind. He needed to see. He needed to connect with God in order to see the spiritual truth. I did some gematria on this, on the Rainbow Connection, on Saint Longine's Rainbow Connection, 14221164. So gematria assigns a letter and a number together, and when you get a word or words in a phrase or a sentence, it will give you the total value, 1422 or 1164. 1422, the lost twin pizza box. That reminds me of, and I said it in the previous reading, when Puff Diddy, whatever his name is, Puffy, rang his son and said, you have to get rid of the pizza boxes. Something hidden. The lost twin pizza boxes. He's got twins too, doesn't he? Strong's Concordance, to find agreeable. And Jesus said, children, how hard is it for them to trust in the riches of heaven? As in, how hard is it for children to trust what they cannot see? 1164, September 11, Yellow Submarine, so something that's hidden. Return of Christ, Happy Mother's Day, The Sound of Silence, Blue Moon Tsunami, Happy Independence Day, The 12 Apostles, A Thing Shown, and a Prayer. I'm just giving you these. They may, something might resonate for you. This might resonate for somebody else. I'm just giving you what was there. I mean, there's pages and pages. I was just picking up. St. Longine's, 696 and 1044. Strong's Concordance is things made of silver. Well, that's the silver gate, which is the gate of man, things made of silver. 1044, trust the plan. God is in control. The Little Mermaid, the Supreme Court, the storm is coming, and gangrene. Now, again, this play on words, gangrene. Revelation 4:3. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone, and there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald, gangrene. Green is the fourth colour of the rainbow. Pentecost, which is June 8th, Jupiter and Mercury conjunct, expansion of the mind. Pentecost is the fourth feast day on the calendar, on the Christian calendar, and it's represented by the colour green. Green is the fourth colour of the rainbow. And Noah at the moment is tracking a huge solar storm, which has the potential to knock the power. Think of a Carrington event, which has the potential to knock, it actually came at the frog screen too, which has the potential to knock the power out across country after country. They're really worried about it. And there's all these messages that have been coming through for months about the 3 days of darkness, followed by the Aurora Borealis, which is green light. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in a sight like unto an emerald. Well, when you think about the Aurora Borealis, or the Aurora Australis, depending on where you're seeing it, it's literally a rainbow in the sky. A silver gate that takes you to the Golden Gate. A storm is coming. Gangrene. Interesting. Okay, let's pull some cards. Let's see where we go. Let's have a look at what angel is supporting you as you try and tap into and allow the messages that are coming through to you. Poyel. Fulfillment. Travel, business, banking and commerce. It'll knock the power out. A black swan event. Travel, business, banking and commerce. 63. Annual. That's the Six of Swords. Divinely guided. Poyel. That's the Two of Pentacles. Something's gonna upset the balance. Good health helps with anger and rage. Number 10, which is the Six of Pentacles, which is Mother Earth. That's the moon in Taurus. And number 50, Daniel. I'm quickly just going to get some information on these. And I just looked these guys up online. Okay, rules over fame, fortune and philosophy. Soul guardian for those born 6:20 p.m, 6:40 p.m. Moral guardian for those born the 14th of May, 25th of July, the 5th of October, the 16th of December and the 26th of February. And physical guardian for those born the 20th to the 24th of December. So this angel protects against accidents, preserves health, cures illnesses and rules over commerce, bankers, businessmen and clerks. Soul guardian for those born 8:40 p.m. to 9 p.m. Moral guardian for those born the 21st of May, the 1st of August, the 12th of October, the 23rd of December and the 5th of March. And the physical guardian for those born the 24th to the 28th of January. So these dates might align with your dates or times of birth. Those born under Daniel will be industrious and active in business. They will love literature and will distinguish themselves with eloquence. Daniel provides consolation, helps to obtain God's mercy, rules over justice, councils, attorneys and magistrates. Soul guardian for those born 4:20 p.m. to 4:40 p.m. Moral guardian for those born the 8th of May, the 19th of July, the 29th of September, the 10th of December and the 20th of February. And physical guardian for those born the 20th to the 24th of November. And finally, person born under this angel's influence enjoys good health and will be happy in their enterprises, esteemed by those who know them, and will frequent sophisticated societies. This angel protects those guilty of hidden crimes, governs rage and pestilence, and cures diseases. Soul guardian for those born 3 a.m. to 3:20 a.m. Moral guardian for those born on the 29th of March, the 9th of June, the 20th of August, the 31st of October and the 11th of January. Physical guardian for those born the 4th to the 8th of May. This angel will protect those guilty of hidden crimes, governs rage and pestilence, and cures diseases. Helps with. And why would an angel protect somebody? I know. So we've got Supreme Court, a storm is coming. Gangrene, evil spreads. The gate of man, the gate of the gods. Now, these are things that I wrote probably 2 years ago. Aldebaran. So, Aldebaran is Archangel Michael, and it's the sword of truth. Antares is Archangel Uriel, and it is light, shedding light. But in the negative, Archangel Michael, unrest, anxiety, manipulation, and mental destruction. We're talking about somebody that's being protected here, somebody that's being protected by the gods, by the angels. Uriel, the watcher of the west, red and emerald green, there you go. The rival of Mars, armored man, the gate between Aldebaran, which is Archangel Michael's sword of truth, and Antares, which is light, illumination, is about the downloads that balance your head and your heart. So in the positive, it's strong nature, confidence, courage, toughness, and pride. Out of balance, it's self-destructive, violence, death, and battle by law. I think of the movie The Never-Ending Story, and the young kid Atreyu. He had to reach the Sphinx gate, but he had to be balanced in order to go through. It's almost like God has allowed whoever's come through the gate of man, filled themselves up to the brim with all the earthly desires, and, you think of the Romans who crucified Jesus. Not a religious reading, but that's the symbolism of that card. That guy was so blind that he couldn't even see whether he passed away or not. The symbolism of that, so blind with greed and just unawareness of people in your surroundings, that it takes some sort of miracle in order for you to connect. The rainbow bridges the connection. And Uriel is light, so it's enlightenment. But if he had have got that water and blood on his eyes and gone, yeah, just a coincidence, because what do we have? No, it was in another reading. Something was not just a coincidence. too much in your ego, then you don't actually take the spiritual lesson from it. I just heard you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Okay. This is about somebody who's been given the opportunity for spiritual enlightenment. That's too many. Evidence. You know what? That came out before when I was doing the pre-shuffle. God's handing what they need for spiritual enlightenment to them on a silver platter. A silver platter. Silver, the gate of man. On a silver platter. Saint Longines, things made of silver. It's being handed to them on a silver platter. Love offer. And walking away. What are they doing? It's being handed to them on a silver platter. Love offer can be ego. Too proud to learn the lesson. And so they just brush it off and they walk away. True north. It's not part of their spiritual journey. Well, it is part of their spiritual journey. It's what's meant to happen. This, whatever this is for this person, is meant to be the aha moment that makes them change from the soldier, the centurion, to the convert, to the believer. What's that song? Imagine Dragons, Believer. One of these cards. Perception. Look at that. I recognize that each individual transverses their own distinct journey, complete with its own set of trials and tribulations. Maybe this person is a follower. Health. I shall revere the sacred vessel that cradles my spirit. Now, this guy here didn't actually need his eyes. They weren't working in the first place. And then they were given back to him. And then they were taken away from him. And he couldn't care less because he'd learned the spiritual lesson. He had spiritual health. I shall revere the sacred vessel that cradles my spirit. Temperance. I embrace the truth that unfolds in celestial harmony. So beautiful. That's so beautiful. Okay, what do I want to do? I'm going to get one from here. This is my favorite things deck. What else can I know? It's a bee. It's a bee. I'm thinking of the Bee movie. How it's all connected. Barry B. Benson. Legal. Went to court, won the war. Won the battle, but lost the war. The feather. A balance. What's that weighing? Weighing at the gate of Anubis. Is that what it is? The judgment, the journey into heaven, the journey at the gate of the gods is weighed. It's a spiritual weighing. Have you learnt the lesson? Something was coming through the other day. Something popped up in my feed about the fact that they were talking about pesticides and how they were trying to basically reduce the world of pesticides. They want all these crops to be grown, but in order to do that, it attracts the bugs, of course it does, because it's part of the cycle of life. And in order to get rid of the bugs, they have to use the pesticides. Well, they're now finding traces of pesticides in honey because it's in the pollen, and then the bees take it back to the hive, and then it goes in to us. The rainbow connection. Everything is connected. We need the rain. We need the sun. Like, it's almost like this microcosm, this ecosystem that we're all living within. Well, it is. That we're all living within. And Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, it's the Great Reset. Kermit the Frog. I want to say hi-ho Kermit the Frog here in my Kermit the Frog voice, but I'm not going to do it. The Five of Cups, yeah. look at the collective energy. Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. The collective truth. Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. That's the Empress, Divine Feminine. Mother Earth is pregnant. I was actually, and I can't show it because it's on my phone. There are 5 species in the world that go through menopause, and it's humans, so women, and I think the other 4 are 3 or 4 different types of whales. And I just heard it's a softening to love. It's a oh, we've got a queen bee, don't we? Queen bee. It wouldn't surprise me if, well, they were too, weren't they? In the never-ending story, the sphinxes at the gate that he had to go through, they were women. To get in the gate of the gods, you've got to pass through the wisdom that is collectively the women who have passed through the gate. Wow, this is getting really deep. Who have passed through the gate of the gods, because they were in the gate of man. The gate of man is this ability to birth something. The Empress, number 3, Venus and Taurus energy. I can hear my washing machine finishing, which is confirmation. And it's interesting, right? Because what did he do? He pierced Jesus in the side, in the rib. And Eve came from the rib. Like the symbolism of where he actually pierced him came from the rib. The other thing that was coming through was the 3 Marys. I've been looking at doing just a trip with my mum who's unwell. Before she gets too unwell to travel, I was saying to her that I wanted to visit the south of France, where the 3 Marys went. And the 3 Marys were present at the crucifixion. And then they were present when they went back to the tomb, but then they fled to the south of France. Empress energy, true north. Okay, what's happening in the soul? This is collective energy. Mother Earth, deception, soul, wounded warrior, 9 of Wands, a message from the man upstairs. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, out of balance, Queen of Wands. And it's a Temperance angel. And the 8 of Pentacles. And the 3 of Wands. What's under there? The 10 of Swords. I'm going to say to you that there's the wisdom and guidance that you are looking for will actually come to you through an older maternal figure in your life. And whether that's a mother, an aunt, a friend, a relative, somebody that's passed away, if you're tapping into ancestral energy, it could come from a book. Like I think of at the moment, is her name Margaret Atwood? She wrote The Handmaid's Tale. She's an older lady who wrote The Handmaid's Tale. Now, that series has just finished, but oh my gosh, if you've never watched it, it is a carbon copy of what is actually happening. And she basically said that when she wrote the books, her one rule was anything that she put into her books had to have been something that happened in real life. So it is literally something stitched together with all of these awful, awful things that have happened from mankind in life. And even in that storyline, this rude awakening of being ripped out of where you are and being put somewhere else that actually makes you open your eyes and see what your true north is. There's some sort of wisdom and guidance that you've either tapped into or you will be tapping into from a Mother Mary energy. Mother Mary. This is my Mother Mary deck. Let's see what we get. The Empress. True North is guidance. The Holy Grail. A vessel of love. The Holy Grail. Whatever it is, it's literally, it's thirst quenching. This song, there's a Holy Grail song. Hunters and Collectors is an Australian band. And there's a line in the song, we ran into millions and nobody got paid. They were trying to crack the American music market. Clearly they didn't go to a Diddy party, right? We ran into millions and nobody got paid. Deception. Intuition. Dandelion. Mary's bitter sorrow. There's actually dandelions in my garden at the moment that have been blowing these little, I don't know what they're called, seeds. Blowing seeds through the whole reading. Bitter sorrow. The wisdom of the elders. And I want to say it because I'm a menopausal woman. The wisdom of menopausal women who have been around long enough to be able to see the deception before it's even presented. They're seeing things with their spiritual eyes. They got a feeling. The Nine of Wands. November 21st, the feast of the presentation of the Blessed Virgin Mary. That was a woman. That was a woman who was visited by Angel Gabriel and told, you are going to have a baby. And, we're talking 2,000 years ago. You're going to have a baby. Immaculate conception. And it's going to be the Son of God. She had to go to Joseph and say, I'm pregnant. It's not yours, but I haven't slept with anybody else. She was on a journey on her own, but she knew it was a spiritual journey. The Feast of the Presentation of the Blessed Virgin Mary, November 21st. Wounded warrior. It's, that could have been the end for her. But for the fact that Archangel Gabriel then visited Joseph and said, hey, this is what's going on. She could have been stoned to death. Somebody's gone before you who has the wisdom, a full cup of wisdom that you need in this situation. Let's have a look here. Columbine, Dove of the Holy Spirit. Well, it's the Holy Spirit that visits on the 8th of June. Fruit of the womb. Pregnancy. Some sort of rebirth. Like this guy here, converted to Christianity. Well, and like Mary too. She was Jewish. Joseph was Jewish. The son that they birthed was Christian. Well, not immediately, but something you're about to birth. The rainbow connection. Wish on the morning star, which is Jesus. Okay, the Eight of Pentacles, right? The Eight of Pentacles. Just one. Pansy. The Trinity revealed to Mary. The Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Something very spiritual about what's happening here. The Trinity revealed. 3 things, potentially, somebody is revealing to you. This mother energy. And the Feast of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, September 8th. Now, September 9th this year. September 9th this year is the 999 portal, which is beginnings, endings and beginnings. Okay, I'm going to get, let's do that one. Anything else you can tell me about this Empress Holy Grail energy? And actually, you know what? In the Da Vinci Code, Sophia was the Holy Grail. She actually physically was the Holy Grail. The Queen of Cups. She didn't know until she tapped into intuition, until she recognized that there was something more spiritual going on with what was actually at play around her. Deceptive, dandelion, Mary's bitter sorrow. She was the Holy Grail. The Four of Swords. She was asleep to it. There's a specific point in your journey where you are asleep to something. And maybe you don't need to go and find... Actually, you don't. You don't need to go and find. Mary didn't need to know prior to Gabriel coming to her that she was going to fall pregnant. What would have been the use of that? There's an allotted point of true north. There's an allotted point of time where something will be given to you, a piece of information will be presented to you. Feast of the presentation of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Ace of Pentacle, where the Ace of Pentacle, single, where a piece of information will be given to you in the 3D, because Pentacles are in the 3D. Okay, let's have a look here. The Magician, allowing you to manifest this new beginning. King of Cups on the bottom. Eight of Pentacles. This is the outcome. Trinity revealed to Mary. I've got lots flicking over here, and I'm going to bear with me. That's a Justice card. The Justice card and the Knight of Pentacles. So it comes in with a set of lessons, but it's almost like a set of, a bit like these women who go through menopause. They have to go through being a young woman. They have to go through the childbirth years. They have to go through it. Like, it's almost like lessons and tests and lessons and tests and lessons and tests. And then finally your body is given permission, because you can't have children anymore, given permission to just rest and be the wise old sage. They've done the spiritual work. They've done the heavy lifting. The Knight of Wands, the Wounded Warrior. They've done the heavy lifting, and whoever this is in your life, and it might be you. You might be in this, or it could be somebody that you're watching coming through that you can see is in a bit of a bind, is trying to get that rainbow connection, that link between. And it's almost, and I heard this probably 18 months ago, that if you do the work for somebody else, you actually rob them of the privilege of learning the lesson. Because when you learn the lesson, you get spiritual growth. But if you just go in and do it for them, and essentially the lesson is then reapplied, which means it takes them longer. Page of Wands. It takes them longer. They've got to learn it themselves. That's the card of the Explorer. They have to learn it themselves. And the Knight of Wands. They have to go through their own Wounded Warrior energy in order to get the wish fulfillment, which is the Knight of Cups, which is Jupiter in Pisces, the spiritual expansion. Jupiter is, what do we have here? Jupiter, June 8th, Jupiter and Mercury pair up. Mercury is the mind and Jupiter is expansion. Okay. I'm going to get you one from my Gwen deck. See if Gwen's got anything to say. This is my grandma's deck. This is after she passed away. There's so many. I'm one of 5 children, but my mother was one of 5 children, and Gwen was her mother. And she had all these beautiful things that she kept in her home, and anybody would love to have been gifted, but there were so many of us. So I got a friend of mine who's a professional photographer to photograph all of the things, and then everybody got, you know, little bits and pieces, but everybody was given all of the images. And some of my arts, I've put them in albums. I've got these beautiful albums, which are all the memories, all the things that when you walk into somebody's home, these maternal, when you walk into somebody's home and there's, even in things that can't speak, they still speak. This is this maternal wisdom. I've got a coffee table that sat in her lounge room for 40 years. Sorry, there's a workman in the yard behind. I've got a coffee table in my house that every grandchild, great-grandchild crawled through and teethed on. Now, I can hear her saying, it's okay, just let them, it's just a coffee table. You know, it's almost like if the walls could talk. And she was, I mean, oh God, I remember, she was control. I remember when I was maybe 6 or 7 and I said a curse word. Never again. I had my mouth washed out with soap. That woman wielded a wooden spoon. But almost shaped who we were. And if, you know, if you or somebody you're watching, whoever is battling some sort of legal, the wisdom of the elders, the wisdom of the elders. Okay. That's sacrifice, that's Jesus. Okay, evidence. That's my grandfather's flight log. He was a navigator in World War II, and he flew from Bankstown, which is just outside of, well, it's one of the suburbs of Sydney, up through into Asia to collect all the Australian prisoners of war. Evidence. Somebody's been sacrificed. I would even say to you, maybe there is, my deck's upside down. Maybe there is wisdom, and I knew this card was going to come out. Somebody's two-faced here. I'm going to find it. Give me just a second. I'm going to find the other card. Somebody's two-faced and you don't see it. Now, don't look at the colours and don't look at... So, this is actually, it's a doll. It's a doll that my aunt made in primary school, I think, in sewing class, probably in the 1960s. And it's one of those dolls where the skirt flips one way, so it's checked on one side and it's floral on the other, and one side has got a head and the other side has got a head and arms. So it's basically, you decide which doll you want to play with that day. Now, she didn't complete it, so obviously this doll doesn't have hair on its head. But we've got a white doll and a black doll. Not very appropriate these days, but obviously it was the 60s, right? But we used to play with these dolls, and they kind of give me Voldemort energy. And you would decide which to play with by which way you flip the skirt. And my grandmother used to laugh because my daughter, who's in her 20s now, couldn't stand the fact that one of the dolls was facing down. So she used to bend them. She used to bend them in two so that both the heads were, so it's like this U shape of this head, U and a U. And she was maybe 3. She'd push them around in the pram so that both the faces were facing up. And my grandmother would say it's actually a measure of who she is as a person and the kindness that she couldn't stand one being pushed down, one being sacrificed. A prisoner of war camps, one being sacrificed. Mother bee energy, mother bee, yeah, queen bee energy. She knew from an early age She wanted them both upright. Maybe you've been put in a position because, you know, this doll's got the prettier dress. This doll's got the hair. This doll is white. This doll is dark-skinned, checkered, crappy dress. No hair. But she saw them as two individuals. She didn't see a difference in color or anything like that. They just both needed to be up. Maybe this is you. Maybe you've been put in a position where you've sacrificed somebody else and you've had an awakening. Could be many things here, right? Something you've seen. Perception. Seen one thing as not as valuable as another. Okay, I'm going to get you some Scrabble tiles. Letters and numbers in here. I'm going to give it a shake. It does make a little bit of noise. If you've got hearing sensitivity, just turn your volume down. We've got an R and a 1, an M and a 3, an X and an 8, a Q and a 10, a Y and a 4, an F and a 4, a J and an 8, a D and a 2, an S and a 1, an L and a 1, a V and a 4, a K and a 5, and a T and a 1. I'm going to get you 3 final cards. Ace of Cups, it's a spiritual journey. 7 of Wands, don't be defensive to it. There's balance. There's balance in it. That's Libra energy. There's balance in it. Something about a battle you're in. There's balance in the battle. And that's the Knight of Wands that wanted to just pop through there, which is about somebody charging forward. And I would say to you that there's maybe justice and balance in gaining that wisdom. Gaining that wisdom before you hit the Sphinx gate. Because otherwise you're going to be pushed back to the gate of man, as opposed to being taken into the gate of God's true north, which is where you want to go. Okay, that's what I've got for you. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. If it resonated with you, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you're called to any of my tarot or oracle decks, the links to those can be found in the description box. I do post regularly, so keep popping back, and I will see you again in another reading.